Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Hakkenden 8 Dogs of the East, Episode 9. Now, if you remember from last episode, we're introduced to a new character. His name is Doetsu, and Doetsu's actually Hamaji's older brother. Just putting that out there. Now, we are taken to a different scene with Shino, and Shino's actually reunited with Yuki. Now, Yuki, if you don't know this, is a guardian, and she's Doetsu's guardian. She can kind of control the element of winter, if that makes any sense, because we see her use ice, I guess. Now, I'll get into more detail on who she really is. Now, moving on past that toward the end of the episode, the truth finally comes out. Now, if you didn't know this, Yuki, she actually saved Doetsu's life. Now, as part of their contract, she loses her voice, her beautiful voice, and that kind of made me sad because she can really sing. Now, again, part of her contract, she's going to lose her voice, and somehow she's connected to, Doetsu technically, so she doesn't want to leave him because she can't. I don't know if she really can't, if that was part of the contract, but she does like him, and yet somehow Doetsu tries to pawn her off on Shino. And I thought it was definitely worth mentioning, but again, that's where the episode ends, and I'll hold my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Hamaji. I was like, Hamaji, really? I don't like her. I don't like a damn thing about her. However, there's a good part about this that I can actually agree upon. So we open up this episode with Hamaji, and she's heading to school, and she's moving out to an all-girls dormitory. Thank you, God. Thank you. So anyways, we also find out she wants to become a doctor, and that's nice, I guess. But again, that's where we open up with. Moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with Ryu, and Ryu is actually just doing a little catch up with Shino in general. So he's going over what actually occurred in Prerequisite Village with Shino, and apparently Shino's trip went a bust, so he didn't really learn anything or gain any new knowledge. So he's being yelled at by Ryu technically, and then we see Ryu's guardian, which is I always pronounce his guardian's name wrong. It's Yosafuza. And Yosafuza basically has Shino in his mouth as Ryu's actually yelling at Shino in general. I definitely thought that was worth mentioning because it was a cute scene. Now we are taken to a different scene with Sasuke, and he's actually making blueberry, walnut, and cheese-flavored muffins because of what Hamaji told him. Hamaji basically told Sasuke, I need you to make these muffins. She didn't say what for, but she's kind of a bitch because she couldn't make them herself. I mean, come on, Sasuke may be kind of an obedient dog in person, but that doesn't mean you can take his help for granted. And I think everyone's taking his help for granted, even though he does look good in an apron. Hey, I look good in an apron. Well, depending on the apron, of course. But sorry, I digress. Now, moving on past that, apparently we find out these muffins, yeah, they're not for the foxes, they're not for anyone else in the house, even though the foxes started eating it among other people. Apparently these muffins were for Hamaji's new roommates. I'm like, at the all-girls dormitory. I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And sadly, she goes apeshit on everyone. He's like, I can't believe you guys are eating it. And I thought it was hilarious and well worth it to see. I like seeing her explode and get all pissed off. Now, of course, we are taken to a different scene with Hamaji, and she's actually reminding Sasuke to tell Shino to basically bring her books to the dormitory, when they come in. I'm like, okay. And, if Shino can't get in, to pose as her little sister. What a bitch. Really? Hey, I got it. Shino technically was a little girl in his youth because of his village's tradition to stay a girl until he's 15, to dress like a girl until he's 15. But to make him do that yet again is so fucking ridiculous. Come on, he's older than you. In my theory, because I have a theory about this, Shino is older than Hamaji, because remember, his age stopped, and yet because he looks like a kid, he's always gonna, everyone's gonna take him for granted. I mean, seriously, a little sister? Fuck you, Hamaji. I said it. I said it. Now we are taken to a different scene with Shino, and apparently he breaks into Hamaji's school, and it's late at night, and it's kind of funny. I'm like, he literally did it. He's not dressed up as a girl though, thank God. He didn't dress up as a little girl. Definitely thought that was worth mentioning. However, we are taken to a different scene, and we're being introduced to a new character, Hamaji's roommate. Now her name is Suzu, Kumagai Suzu, and she was in detention apparently. At least that's the excuse she gives her for not showing up right away. She was in detention, And that's really all we know about her. Her name is Suzu, and she's, Hamaji's roommate, and she's coming from detention. Really not a lot of detail. However, we are taken to a different scene with Shino, and he actually ends up delivering the books to Hamaji, and he uses Mersume to kind of knock on the window to get Hamaji's attention, and then Hamaji actually leaves her roommate, goes outside, gets the book. Now Shino is he's actually telling her something, small little chit chat. Now apparently Shino ends up leaving. Now eventually when Shino leaves, he's caught in what appears to be a purple barrier, and I'm like, what? I mean, Hamaji's not around. Hamaji went back to her room, and yet somehow we see what appears to be a purple barrier appear out of nowhere, and it kind of engulfs Shino. I'm like, okay. And that was it. So we're taken to a different scene. The next day, we see Sasuke. Now I should also point out, Sasuke was with Shino when he went to the dormitory, but Sasuke waited outside, like a loyal, obedient dog that he is. And, this is the next day, of course, and we see Sasuke and Shino, they're at Kei's house. And I thought that was definitely worth mentioning. Apparently, Shino was unconscious this whole time. And apparently, this is what Shino tells everyone. He ran into what appears to be a ghost, or a doll appears. I'm like, so this doll basically did something to you in this girl's dormitory? I'm sorry. What were you smoking? What were you drinking? I know the crazy people always have the good stuff, but come on, Shino. A little doll did this to you? Got you unconscious and scared the shit out of you? So, you're not scared of monsters, but when it comes to ghost, you're scared shitless. You got problems, man. You got problems. Of course, moving on past that, we do find out Shino draws what appears to be the monster or a ghost that he saw, and it's a little cute little stuffed animal, and Akashino notices it. Genpachi thinks it's cute. Kokono, she's also there. It's kind of funny how all these characters are now under one roof. I mean, we were just introduced to them about like last episode. Now they're all under one roof, and again, they're not really taking him seriously, and they all laugh. Now, of course, Kokono, she actually humors him. She actually humors Shino and says it could be something more. She starts to talk with him, kind of get him more under control to explain the situation at the girls' dormitory, what she thinks could be happening to a small extent. Not a lot of detail though, just trying to reassure them that there is something there, that you are right, it was probably a ghost or something. Now, of course, we are taken to a different scene with Hamaji, and apparently she has run into Ruri. Yeah, this is another character we're being introduced to. This character is called Ruri, and she's probably one of the most popular kids at this all-girls dormitory, and she's also very strict. She reinforces the rules and whatnot, and apparently last night she actually saw both Hamaji and her sister. And, it was violating the rules, of course. But she's letting this slide since technically this is her first day as a student. So she let it slide. But again, I can't believe Hamaji basically said, Shino was her sister. Even though she doesn't have a sister, she technically has an older brother. And Shino, even though he is older, wasn't even dressed up as a girl to begin with. So it didn't really make any sense. Just putting that out there. And it's kind of weird. She points out there is a guardian on campus. There's a guardian that enforces the rules and whatnot. This is what Ruri says. I'm like, so she knows about a guardian. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I think she was just trying to look for a dramatic effect. Now I should point out we are taken to a different scene with Akino, and Akino basically wants to see this ghost. He's actually humoring Shino, and he actually wants to go along with Sasuke and Shino to find out about this ghost on the girls' dormitory, on the property. So we're taken to a different scene with Sasuke, Shino, and Akashino, and they're actually on the school campus, per se. And I thought this was kind of funny because they're now face to face with the Guardian. The Guardian has appeared, this little doll. I thought it was kind of cute though, in a creepy way. And Akino is basically like, thanks Shino for creeping me out, and he tries to run away. I'm like, what? Oh, this doesn't make any sense. And then this Guardian actually corrects everyone. He's not a stuffed animal, or this, this Guardian is a guardian, if that makes any sense. If I said this the wrong way, let me rephrase this. This ghost isn't just a ghost, it's a guardian, and it's a rabbit bear. I love rabbit bears. I like the mix, except regardless, it's a creepy stuffed animal, but it refers itself as a guardian slash rabbit bear, and it attacks. Now, eventually, Sasuke jumps in and apologizes to this rabbit bear and says he apologizes for breaking any rules violations and that he really cares about Hamaji. They're just there to check up on Hamaji, make sure she's okay. And ironically, this guardian backs down, doesn't do anything. So we're taken to a different scene the next day after Sasuke and everyone else leaves. Although Akino tried to leave regardless because he's like scared. He just leaves. I thought it was kind of funny. But anyways, everyone's gone. This is the next day. And we do see Hamaji. And she runs into Ruri. And I thought it was definitely worth mentioning. Now, just before she runs into Ruri, she runs into Suzo. And Suzo actually starts to talk about her friends, like, you know what, your friends are really great, they're supportive. And I'm like, wait a minute, Suzu, you only met Musume, technically, the little crow. You've never seen Shino, Sasuke, or Akino. So how the hell do you know Hamaji has other friends? And then the scene was cut, and then we see, you know, Hamaji running into Ruri, and Ruri basically saying, you know, I'm sorry about the other day. I was a little, you know, strict and whatnot. We're here to comfort you. You know, I know it's hard, you know, staying here and having a room to yourself. I'm like, wait a minute. Hamaji isn't by herself. She has Suzu, which is her roommate. And then Hamaji excuses herself, and she goes to her room, and she notices Suzu isn't in her room. Suzu was never there. And at the end of the episode, we find out Suzu is a guardian of the all-girls, you know, dormitory and whatnot, of the school grounds. And that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, okay, Suzu, you're a guardian? What? This just got better. Now, I'm wondering, are you by yourself? You don't have a contract with anyone? I'm still very iffy on that. Do you have someone, or maybe not? At least you have a human form, which is kind of cute. I mean, on all seriousness. Now, moving on past that, I am still kind of wondering, what is Shino's next goal going to be? Did he get Sasuke's beat back? I believe so. But what is he trying to find out? What's the next mission, and where's it going to go? And I'm wondering, now that Akino and Kokono, they're all here under one roof, do they have their own beads? And if not, how many beads do we have total? I mean, if I'm correct, we got 4 beads. We've got Sasuke's, we've got Shino's, we've got K's, and we've got Genpachi's. So that's 4 beads. Now, technically, if you do the math, if Kokono has a bead, that's 5. And if Akino has one, that's 6. So where does that leave us? The guy that was on the train, Doetsu, that would be 7 if I'm correct. So well, let me do the math. That's 4 we already know we have. Kokono would be the 5th one. Doetsu would be 6. The 7th one would be Doetsu. So we've got 7 beads, and in the title it's Hakkenden 8 Dogs of the East. So we know there's probably going to be 8 different beads. So then that means we're missing 1 extra bead. But that's if we're doing the math right. But all we know is right now we have 4 beads that have been confirmed. So I can't wait to find out who actually has the beads right now. Like, I want to do a head count. But again, that is it for my final thoughts. Not to make it too, you know, mind-blowing there and whatnot. But again, moving on to my final rating, 3.5 out of 5. I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 5, even though we were introduced to new characters, we got a little light information. There really is no drama or romance in this story, so that's been thrown out. Even though technically this new guardian was actually talking about Sasuke and everyone else, how they are really good friends to Hamaji. That's kind of a little emotional drama mix, but not a lot to quench my thirst. Was there any fighting? Yes. Was it drawn out? No. So I can't give any points there. But again, this was a decent episode, not the best. So final rating, 3.5 out of 5. But again, guys, that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Hakkenden 8 Dogs of the East episode 9. But definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. But again, guys, let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's gonna happen in the next episode that's coming out. But guys, I gotta hit the bricks and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.